Hi, everybody. I'm Timmy Gwynn. I'm joined here by Cam Huffman, and you're tuned in on Sharp Video TV to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans State Tournament Preview Show. The number 2 ranked Greenbrier East Lady Spartans are here inside Spartan Gym in Fairley. Final preparations are underway as they look to take the trip to the Charleston Civic Center, where they will seek their second state championship under head coach Jim Justice. And Cam, we certainly learned early on this season, this is a special ball club we have in the number 2 ranked Greenbrier East Lady Spartans.
Absolutely, Timmy. It's been quite a road, quite a journey, and I'm not just talking about the 14-hour bus trip to Orlando. It's been a lot of fun since then, as this Spartan team has proved itself over and over again, starting with that trip to Orlando where they took on some of the best teams from across the country, really, and proved themselves really well down there. Then they came back here and did it night after night as they played a really, really tough schedule and had a great regular season, 19 wins, and it's continued right into the postseason. And now they've reached one of their goals. They're going to Charleston. Now they have one more, bring home a trophy with them.
Cam, you alluded to one of the most difficult schedules faced by any team in the state, and despite all of that, the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans not only prevailed in that, but they went on to the postseason with a record of 3-0 as they handled Riverside in the sectional semifinal, perennial rival Woodrow Wilson in the sectional championship, and then they defeated George Washington last week in the regionals, which not only avenged their only in-state AAA loss, but advanced them to the AAA state playoffs. So, Cam, is certainly, you mentioned it earlier, we certainly have a great ball club that has as good a chance as anybody to hoist that state title.
Yeah, that schedule we talked about, Timmy, is why I really, really like their chances. We mentioned it earlier talking with each other. When you go to Charleston, that kind of lure of being there and playing on that floor and the big state tournament moment can kind of take a toll on some teams. But this team has faced so many great teams so far, so many hostile environments, so many big crowds and big moments and must-win situations that I feel like they're ready for it. And they'll go in prepared and knowing what to expect and be ready to play when they get to Charleston.
Well, folks, you could listen to us laud how good this team is all afternoon. Believe us, we've got the time. But conspicuous by its appearance is this chair here. And joining us after the break will be some key contributors of this Greenbrier East Lady Spartan Ball Club. And later on, we might even be joined by the head coach, Jim Justice. Who knows? You'll have to stay tuned. Well, in the meantime, keep it right here. You are watching the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Report on Sharp Video TV. Hi, everybody. Welcome you back to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Show. We told you before the break that this chair right here would be filled with some key contributors that we're going to interview that paint the picture for what has been a fantastic season for the Lady Spartans. And who better to start things off for us than junior forward Haley McClure, who has been on an absolute tear following up to a fantastic AAA All-State season. Certainly going to make some noise getting back into those conversations this year. 17.8 points per game, I believe. And Haley, how does it feel after all this time knowing that it's all the work you've put in, it's finally come to fruition, you're going to the state tournament?
It feels great. You know, like we put in so much work, like this is what we work for, is to go to the state tournament. Now we're going, but we can't stop now. We still have a road ahead of us to get to.
Well, Timmy mentioned that point total, Haley, and looking at your stat line, you're averaging 17 points a game, 9.5 rebounds, and you have 30 blocked shots on the season. So my question is, which one is the most fun? Blocking a shot, scoring in the paint, or grabbing a big rebound?
Scoring in the paint feels great, but blocking that shot really does feel good too.
And you had a couple key ones the other night against George Washington. How'd that feel with the game on the line to get your hands on a couple block shots?
It felt really good. Like just knowing that I'm like stopping them from scoring feels great.
Well, you don't want to sell her short by just labeling her inside the paint either, Cam. I remember vividly in the sectional championship against Beckley, you nailed a wicked step-back jumper there on the right side wing, crossed over a flying eagle. She's still trying to put the feathers back in her wings, and you just hit a step-back jumper that really set the tone for that game. So I guess my follow-up to that would be, you've got all these signature wins this year. Which one's your favorite?
My favorite would have to be against Woodrow. Like, I don't know, it's just something about Woodrow.
Well, you got them 3 times, so how about you try to niche it down, be a little more specific for us. The first one here, the second one over there, which turned into a big slugfest, or here with the championship on the line?
It would have to be the championship on the line because, like, that really meant something. The other 2 games, like, meant something, but just knowing that we were going to the regional championship and then have to play GW again. Like, we needed that win. That was an important win for us.
This team this year, obviously you've had some special seasons in the past, but this one you took that next step to get to Charleston. What moment, is there a moment that stands out to you in this season where you felt like, you know what, this team's different, this team's special, we're going to get there?
Probably when we were down in Florida. It was like, we knew we were good, we knew we were good, but we had time to work. But just down in Florida, I felt like we were something more. Like, I actually, like, realized, I guess, like, we're going to be something. Like, we're going to be a good team. Like, this is, like, the start to what's going to happen.
And when you look at where you are, obviously it's exciting to be making that trip to Charleston, but I have to imagine you want more than that, right?
Yeah, I want a ring. I want that championship ring, but we just got to keep working. That's a long road. It's only a couple games, but it feels like a really long time.
Right. Have the jitters set in at all? I've always heard that first game in Charleston's the toughest. Does it feel different now, or with the level of the high level that you all have practiced each and every day, does it feel like business as usual?
Well, the closer it gets to that game, like, I can tell I'm getting nervous, but I guess it really hasn't kicked in what's happening until we get down there. That's when it's going to kick in, really.
Well, you mentioned the Florida trip, and I'm sure there are all kinds of things you all have done together, meals, movies, sleepovers, whatever. Tell us about some of the fun things you all have had an opportunity to do this year.
Going to Prime 44, which I missed last night, but going to the movies with Coach and going to his house with him and Kathy and Joe and also JC. He's the cutest baby ever. But I remember in Florida, me, Autumn, and Amaya and AJ running back off the boat because they called us and we had to get back, but we were running across, and it was just, I don't know, it's just all fun.
I would imagine the most fun part of the trip to Florida was getting to ride the bus with the two of us, right? I mean, that had to be a highlight of your career so far.
That was definitely a fun trip.
I thought so.
Well, I don't know how I can top that other than to just steer the conversation. You talked about some moments with your teammates there in Florida and getting off the boat and everything. You got a quick phone call. How special is this group this year? Tell us about some of the friendships you've built and what being on this team this year means to you.
Just, we're all like a sisterhood. We all are like friends. We're all close. Like, it's, none of us is really drama or anything. It's like we're all together in this. We're all like really close together.
Well, Haley, we've come to the end of our time together, and we certainly want to wish you the best of luck. You've done such a fantastic job this season. You've been a joy to watch, and we look forward to seeing you chase that state tournament. One of the last things I want to ask you is, you've built such a tight, cohesive group together, but all of you have come together and have come this far with the support of a lot of people that have, come out and really been tremendous cheerleaders for you and this team. For you personally, is there anybody that you've really appreciated that you'd like to let them know that you appreciate them throughout this season?
My mom and dad and McKenna. So, hey McKenna, hey Mom, hey Dad.
Well, can't get much better than that. Haley, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you the best of luck, and look forward to next time talking to you having a ring on your finger. How about that?
Okay, thank you.
All right, there she is. Junior forward Haley McClure. When we come back, more interviews to get you ready for the state tournament trip for the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans. Keep it right here on Sharp Video TV. And we're back on the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Show. Joining us at this time, junior point guard Kate Perkins. And Kate, I'll ask you the same thing that I asked Haley McClure before on the previous break. All the hard work you put into this season, how's it feel to finally be here, moments away from the state tournament?
Honestly, I'd kind of say it's a relief because you work so hard. Like, I've played basketball since I was in 3rd grade, and just I've watched every girl go through here in high school since then, and just watching them. And my Lexi Tincher, my cousin, I really looked up to her, and just being able to like go to the state tournament, like future or past Spartans, is just like a relief to know that all my hard work that I've put in is just paying off.
Looking through your stat line here, Kate, you're averaging 8.7 points a game, 3.6 rebounds. You've got 81 steals in the season, but the number that really jumps out, 133 assists. Is that your favorite thing to do on the basketball court, is feed somebody down underneath and get an assist?
Well, yeah, it's my favorite thing, but I guess that's like the best thing. That's the best thing I do.
Right. That's
Like,
what a point guard has to do, right?
Yeah, I guess everybody in our team kind of has a position. I wouldn't say like we all switch off now and then. Like Haley's down there under the basket working hard to get, so we give her the ball. Abby and Emma, they're 3-point shooters. Autumn, she's just working hard, running as fast as you can just to get the ball down the floor. But I guess it's just my job to get them the ball to be able to do that.
Is that maybe one of the things that makes you guys as good as you are, is that everybody does have that responsibility, everybody knows what their role is, and everybody is happy doing their role?
Yeah, I definitely think that is. And especially if somebody, isn't having their best game, we all come together and kind of just fill in for each other. Like if I don't, like one game I wasn't playing very good. I had a couple turnovers, and Autumn picked it up with like five assists. So when I slack off, then everybody else helps to pick up.
Well, you touched on something that I want to explore further, on how this team is so good at picking up the slack. Certainly, this had no reflection on your play, but you took quite a bump on the head the last game against GW, and it certainly wasn't the same without you, but certainly we're fortunate enough to pull together enough to make it to this point, to that GW game where you're able to come back in and really put things back where they need to be. Tell us how that felt, having to overcome that adversity so late in the season.
Yeah, well, after I hit my head, I was pretty upset about it because when I went to the doctor, they said, you're not allowed to play a week after your symptoms stop. And I was having headaches, and I wasn't feeling very good. Like when I went to the emergency room, my mom, she just said that I was a sloth. Like my reactions were that slow, and that was just a scary thing for me. And to be able to get back on the floor and just show that, like, yeah, I did get hurt, but I'm still helping the team out, is just, I guess it just makes me happy. And yeah.
Something maybe a lot of people don't think about, but when this is unique to this team and they're lucky to have, is a guy like Bob Haas who is there when you have those kind of situations to help you along the process and get you back. How much does he mean to the overall success of this team?
I cannot tell you how many times we go over there to talk to him or just have him fix one little thing that really just makes a difference. Like a couple of the girls just have like few minor problems. Like me and Riley Norman, we have like back issues, and if we go over there for just to have him straighten it out, it makes so much more of a difference because we won't be in practice. All my back hurts because Bob fixed it.
Well, I want to go back to that staggering number of assists you have on the season. What was that, Cam, 133?
133, yeah.
So you talk about your role in the team, and really I think of it as almost like a conductor for a band, right?
Yeah.
You receive your instructions from coach, and we'll see you coming down the floor holding 3 fingers up or two fingers, calling out the play. What's going through your mindset as you're dribbling up the floor and you're calling out a play? Can you envision things playing out before you distribute the ball?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I'll say something, or especially like with the different type of defense that everybody plays, I'll just like see them set up, and usually you'll see me sometimes like Haley come up to here because I just envision Haley I give it to Haley and Haley kicking it out to Abby or Emma and just popping a 3, just something simple as that, just like making it work so easily because we just work so much at it.
A lot of great moments this year. I would ask you your favorite, but I think I probably know. It has to be the pie in the face to Coach Justice, right?
2 of them, actually.
Right. For those who don't know this story, tell us about what happened there.
So we were at Princeton. I'll give you like the back story. We were at Princeton and we were playing in Emma. Yeah, it was Emma. We were in the locker room after the game, and Coach had just came in, and Coach walked through the door, and Emma was like, "Coach, stop." And he was like, "What?" She's like, "If I make this, then I get to," she said something. She was like, "We don't have to run," something silly like that, and she didn't make it. And then Coach said, "Give me that bottle." So he got it, and he was like, "Emma, if I make this, I get to pie you in the face." And she was like, "No," and then he made it. And then it was funny, everybody was laughing, and then I got the water bottle sitting next to me, and I was like, "Coach, if I make this, I get to pie you in the face." He said, "Okay." So I run up next to the trash can and just dunk it in, and he was like, "No, that doesn't count." And I was just like, "Yeah, I didn't say where I'd shoot it at." And then before the fashion show, he came up to me, he said, "We're going to do the pie in the face." And I said, "Emma's?" And he said, "Yeah," because nobody else knew about it. And I was like, "Okay." And I was talking, I was like, I get to pie you in the face. He said, I don't remember that. I said, yeah, you do. So they whipped up another pie, and then we had this whole big deviant plan, so everybody didn't know that I was going to pie him. The second pie actually wasn't meant for him, but I thought it just added a nice touch.
It did, it did. What was that like to have the opportunity to do that? I mean, not only is he your coach, he's the governor of the state of West Virginia, and you get to put a pie in his face.
I cannot tell you how many people were like, you pied the governor. And I was like, I know. Like, who gets to do that?
And you got him good, too. It wasn't just a little pie. I mean, he had it dripping off his face. It was pretty special.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Got the good out of it. Yeah, and that's another interesting point of, you know, it's such a unique situation. You've got the governor of this state as your head coach, but how great is he on a daily basis? Like, how good of a job has he done putting this team together and getting you all as close as he has?
Yeah, it's not just the coaching aspect that he attributed to us. He kind of gives us like the family feeling. He just does so much for us, and it honestly helps us because it brings us together. Like us going out to the movies with him, or us going to dinner with him, and just being able to spend that time with him, and him really getting to know every one of us. It's just really helps us on the field. On the court. Switching sports.
The field of battle. We're running short on time here, but I want to hit some big points here. How special is this group? You know, you're three wins away from getting only the third state championship in the history of this school that goes back 50 years. How tight are you with this group?
I've been playing with this group since 6th grade, or minus Autumn, since she's new, or newer. Yeah, we have been playing together forever. We used to play on this team called Lady Fusion. And this team, we went to go play everywhere. We went to Roanoke, we went to North Carolina, and honestly, we won a lot of tournaments. So honestly, being able to get this far, I wouldn't really say it's a surprise.
Right.
Because we just work so hard. But there was this one time that we went to a Roanoke tournament, and it's called the Spectrum. Have you ever heard of it? Okay, we went there, and we played in the 6th and 7th grade division, and then there was also an 8th and 9th grade division. Well, we won both divisions as 7th graders.
Wow.
Yeah, so being able to do that, I guess, just shows how we've been tight since we were in 7th grade, and just being able to grow that bond like through high school, it's just really shows on the basketball court. I'm going to stop doing that.
Well, finally, Kate, it's been a long journey, not just this year, but this kind of signifies the culmination of years worth of work, despite the fact that we're thankful you still have another year with us.
Yeah.
But you've had a ton of support along the way, I'm sure. And if there's anybody that you would like to say hi to or thank, give you the opportunity right now to look right in that camera and say whatever you have to say.
Well, I want to thank every coach that's helped me get as far as I can. I want to thank my mom. She's in New Zealand right now. She's missing the tournament, but just want to say thank you for everything you've done, and my dad, and just anybody that's helped me come as far as I can. And Coach Justice for being such a good coach. And to you guys for announcing our games.
Well, we'll take the thanks wherever we can get it. Kate, fantastic job doing this, by the way.
Thank you.
Learned beyond your years and well-spoken beyond your years. We thank you so much for the time with us. You have been an absolute joy to watch this season, and we look forward to cheering you on and hoisting that state championship.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right, there she is, point guard Kate Perkins. When we return, more from Spartan Gym in Fairleigh. You are tuned in to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Report on Sharp Video TV. Back inside Spartan Gym in Fairleigh, you're tuned in to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Report. Joining us at this time, senior guard Autumn Hill. Autumn, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I know we talked to you after the big win last week over George Washington, and a week has passed. You're just days away. Maybe by the time people watch this, you'll be maybe even hours away from the state tournament. Tell us how you're feeling.
I'm ecstatic. I'm so excited and so proud of my team for how far we've made, and hopefully we can win that ring.
Autumn, you look at your stat line across here. You've had a lot of good numbers, 11.8 points per game. You're averaging 4.2 rebounds. But the number that really sticks out to me is you're shooting 46% from the field. But is that a result of just getting good looks, or what do you attribute that to?
We do a lot of driving and kickouts, and the way that we pass the ball, it leaves me open, and it actually gets our whole team open. So every time we have the open spot, I usually take it and shoot it.
And that's led to a lot of points over your career. I know when in Orlando earlier this season, you scored 1,000 for your career. What was that moment like, and how does that feel?
Honestly, I didn't get to celebrate it because we were down, so it wasn't really my thought till after the game was over and we were on the bus, and I was like, oh, Mom, I got my 1,000 points.
You were able to celebrate it when you came back home and you were presented with the banner and everything. What was that moment like to be in front of the home fans and have that moment recognized?
It was really awesome because my home family from Fayetteville came and watched, and I got to play against some old teammates, Woodrow, so I got to celebrate in front of them, so it was pretty amazing.
Perfect.
Well, you've racked up 22 wins on what's been an amazing season. You only lost to one in-state AAA team, and you avenged that in the regional championship. Out of all those wins this season, which one, if you had to pick one, which one would be your favorite?
Woodrow.
For the sectional championship?
Yes.
Tell us about that atmosphere.
It's rough. Like, everyone's so intense and so upbeat, and it's so fast-paced, so sometimes we get in panic mode. But, like, just playing with old teammates and playing with new teammates, it's kind of just an awesome feeling. And when we beat them 3 times in a row, that's a hard thing to do. It was incredible.
So you talk about old teammates and new teammates, and no matter who you're out on the floor with, you manage to step up and show out. I mean, you don't get to 1,000 points in a career for nothing. But what has made this year's team different in terms of like just pure success? This is certainly, in your time at Greenbrier East, the most successful team you've been on. Yes. So what's different this year?
I think last year we didn't have the chemistry because me moving here, I didn't know the girls. I didn't know how they play. So it kind of took a while for us to pick up on each other, to know, like, I'll make the bounce pass down low, or Kate will drive and kick out, and Emma can shoot threes, and Abby can shoot threes. So it took us a lot to get to know each other. But now we're, like, all together, literally all best friends.
We've talked a lot about offense so far, but that's certainly not all you do. You're pretty big on the other end of the floor as well. Several times this season you've had the assignment of guarding the other team's best player. And does defense mean a lot to you? Do you take a lot of pride in the way you play defense?
My dad taught me that defense wins championships. Like, offense wins games, defense wins championships. So, like, that's always been a big thing of mine. And, like, I went to a West Virginia basketball camp, and ever since I got the heart and hustle award for defense, that's been, like, my main desire, is to be the best defense.
So if defense wins championships, that's going to be your focus next week in Charleston, right?
Yes, it is. And, like, for games, we got to see who's hot. Like, if I'm not shooting well, I know I got to pick it up on D, and if Emma's shooting well, I know I got to look for her. So, like, it kind of just matters how it plays out.
Right.
Well, Coach Justice talks to us all the time about how smart you girls are in terms of too many different defensive looks to name, that he will just, at the drop of a hat, in the middle of a game, will adjust your defense, and you all know exactly where you need to go and how you need to execute it. We see the finished product out on the court. How many long hours of practice went into that, where you all were able to just perfect so many looks, whether it was diamond press, or your 2-3, or your backside help man, or all those different looks?
Sometimes we have 2 practices a day. Like last week we had 2. We just had to get back in and go over more plays. But sometimes he'll just draw it on a board and we can get it like that. Like before the Woodrow game, we learned a new 1-2-2, and he drew it up and we were like, okay, and we executed it and it stopped them. So.
Most important question so far. Do you love the orange cream fudge as much as Timmy and I do?
My mom's?
Yes, we both got a care package today of orange cream fudge. And any other moms out there, if you want to become our favorite, right now Misty is a favorite, but you can send some treats our way.
She's the leader in the clubhouse for sure.
My mom could cook.
Absolutely.
She's a great cook, and I've ate like 4 before I came to practice, so hopefully we don't run much more.
There you go. All right, well, Autumn, we really appreciate you joining us. We really enjoyed watching you this year. And just, I guess the one question we want to go out with here is, you mentioned you came in last year not really knowing anybody. What has this overall experience meant to you to be part of this team the last 2 years and experience everything you have with these girls?
It's overwhelming because I don't want to leave them. Like, it makes me sad thinking about it. But they're like family to me.
Well, if you have to leave, no better way to leave than with a state championship, right? go get it done.
Well, you already talked about getting teary. This might just put you over the top here, Autumn. To finish things off, we've can't tell you how much we've enjoyed, having the best seat in the house and watch you all progress this season. But we're not the only ones, certainly, and you especially have had a ton of support throughout the year. I always see a huge Autumn Hill crowd sitting directly across from us. So what we want to do now is, if there's anybody that you would like to thank for their support, not just this season, but all throughout your career as you look to close out your senior year, or just say hi to, we'll invite you to look into the camera right now and say whatever it is you have to say.
Well, of course, I'm going to say thank you to my parents. Mom, love you. Dad, I love you. Papa, I love you. And, for my siblings for always coming to every single game of mine, literally when I know you want to do something else. And for my mama and my nana that's watched me up there, thank you for always coming, and I know you're watching over me. And thanks to Coach and my teammates. I love you guys.
Perfect. Autumn.
Thank you.
Not much left else to be said. You've been a joy to watch this season. We thank you for your time. We thank you for everything this year, and we look forward to rooting you on this week as you pursue a state championship.
Thank you.
All right, there she is, Autumn Hill, senior point guard for the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans. When we return, more from Spartan Gym. You're tuned in to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Report right here on Sharp Video. Back inside Spartan Gym on the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans State Tournament Preview Report, and joining us now, the other senior, key cog in this Greenbrier East Lady Spartan defense, senior Abby Bartenslager. Abby, making your final preparations now for the state tournament run. How's it feel?
It feels really weird. It doesn't feel like it's real at the moment because it's like the last time I'm practicing in this gym, but it's a good feeling.
You got things emotional to start things off, didn't you? But
yeah.
We're a week removed now from an incredible victory over George Washington in the regional final. You avenge your only loss to an in-state AAA club. Just to recap, tell us how that felt to get that monkey off your back and knowing that not only did you knock them out, but you're taking their spot in the state tournament.
It felt really good because last year they took our spot, and this year we got to not pay them back, but we got the spot this time, and it just feels great. I don't know how else to explain it.
Along those same lines, obviously you would love to have made this trip every year during your career, but having fallen short, does that make this moment right now even more special?
It does, because it's my senior year. It's just a great way to end out your senior year.
Looking at your stats, as I've done with everybody who's come up here, you're averaging 6.8 points a game. You're averaging 7.2 rebounds. But a big number for you, 90 steals, team best in that category. How much do you pride yourself on your defense and taking it away from the opponent?
That's the thing that I like the most, honestly, about basketball. I love playing defense. That's always been what I've really worked on. I mean, I work on shooting and everything. I like to shoot the ball, but playing defense, I think, wins games, and that's what I want to do.
With any team, really, this happens, but I think we notice it with you guys more than anybody. Defense really leads to offense with you guys. When you're playing well on defense, that's when you play your best, getting some runouts, playing in transition. Do you talk about that a lot, and do you focus on making those defensive plays to lead to offensive success?
Yeah, Coach always tells us to channel our nervousness into our defense because it will flow into our offense. We can't force our offense whenever we're nervous, but we can play really good defense.
That might be critical in Charleston, where you know you're going to have some extra nerves, but that's a great point. If you play great defensively and the shots aren't falling early, you keep yourself around to later in the game when they do start falling, you'll be within striking distance.
And it's a great hallmark of a great pressing team, which you all certainly are. And you're the leader of the band in that department, so to speak. So you touched on that, on staying in it. One of the things that you all are so good at, and Cam had already alluded to it, is creating points off turnovers, but it's a lot more than that. You all get so many more shots than your opponents, and so to your point, when they're not falling, how important is that to just get up as many shots as you can and let the law of averages take over after that?
We really think about, like Coach always tells us that we need to have, I think it's 64 shots a game, and that we should always have that many. And then if we have that many, then we'll get our amount that we need to win the game. We have that many shots up, if that makes sense. Sorry.
Well, So I want to shift gears here. Stay on the track of defense, and it's one of the things we've talked about with you all season long, and we're talking to a new audience here as really the heart and soul of this defense. And folks, if you ever had an opportunity to be here live, you would have noted that the knee pads that Abby wears have a lovely hole right there where she has worn them out diving for so many loose balls, creating so many tie-ups. If anybody kept a record of tie-ups, Abby Bartenslogger's name would have to be at the top of the list. I think I've got a good handle on the story, but for the benefit of those who don't, it takes a certain special kind of aggression to fuel that kind of defensive prowess. How did you discover your aggressive nature?
Well, growing up with two older siblings and one being an older brother, and we always have really big family fights, I guess you could say, because we all go out in the basketball court and play, and if Zach doesn't win, that's my brother, then he gets very mad. So it's always a big old rivalry between us. And then also growing up on a farm, I mean, it's kind of given to me.
So how important is it? You usually don't want to make your brother mad, but I imagine you try to make him mad when you can, right? You want to win as many of those as you can.
Oh yeah.
How do you usually fare in those family battles?
I normally win. He's not very good at basketball, but he's just bigger than me.
Right. In all honesty, does that matter on the court? I mean, do you kind of go back to those moments when you're facing a bigger opponent or somebody maybe bigger and stronger? Do you kind of remember those moments, and does it fuel you a little bit?
It does. It's harder to play against them, but that doesn't mean that they're better than you.
Right.
You gotta do something different. I mean,
let's talk off the court for a moment. This team we've talked with everybody about is really a close group, and you guys have bonded off the court. Tell me a memory that really stands out to you this season of something you guys have done together, or a moment when you really realized how close you were as a group.
I think that the biggest, the most fun trip that we probably had together was whenever we all dressed up as elves. And we went with Coach to hand out presents to the little kids. I mean, that was just such a memorable experience because we got to stay in the mansion, and I mean, we all bonded so much that night because we all stayed up really late watching TV, and they brought us a bunch of snacks. And it was also just really great to realize how lucky you were because we were handing out those gifts to the little kids.
Right.
And it was just a really fun experience, and we all loved it.
Well, it's been a week now since you defeated George Washington and earned a berth into the state championship, and I imagine just the pace all season long, as phenomenal as this season has just been so fast and furious. I know things have been hectic. I mean, heck, we're in the middle of practice right now, but have you had an opportunity, especially the circumstances being your senior year and all, have you had an opportunity to just kind of stop and take it all in?
I haven't yet, actually. I mean, I kind of did, right before our George Washington game, just because I was like, man, this could be it. But I didn't want to think about that. I really just thought about, this could be leading into the state championship. I got to think that way.
Well, not to mention it was your birthday, too.
Yeah,
you couldn't stand to be thinking negative on that.
No, I couldn't. But definitely, now, I'm getting ready, today I started packing for states, and I was like, this is really happening. Right. It was just crazy.
Well, Abby, it's been a pleasure to watch you all season long. It's been quite a run, and I know in your senior year you want to finish it with a ring. What's it going to take to get there?
Hard work. I mean, we're all going to have to hustle like crazy, and I know we all can because that's one of the big things that we do. We always hustle. And teamwork, a big thing is teamwork.
Right.
Well, Abby, we'll finish off with this. A lot of fans have hustled in throughout not just this season but your entire career. Played in front of a ton of packed houses here in the gym that have supported you all and are right behind you like they always have been now that you're going for the state tournament. As you close out your career, we know you love the fans, but you've been playing basketball your whole life, and you've had such a great support system. If there's anybody that you would like to thank right now or would like to say hi to right now, we're going to give you this opportunity to look right in that camera and say whatever it is you have to say.
Well, I definitely think that the Waltons, Cindy and Doug and Kat and Adam, you guys have came to every single game that you guys can and made me feel like one of your all's kids, and it was just great, the support that you guys have. And then also my mom and dad, because obviously I couldn't have done it without them.
Well, Abby, great job this season, and we're looking forward to watching you pursue a state championship. We know you've got 3 more wins under your belt as you close things out.
We do, I hope.
All right, thank you so much, Abby. There she is,
Thank you.
the senior, Abby Bartenslogger. When we return, we'll have more from Spartan Gym. You are tuned in to the Lady Spartan Basketball State Tournament Preview Show right here on Sharp Video TV. Back here at Spartan Gym in Fairleigh, you are tuned in to the Lady Spartan Greenbrier East State Tournament Preview Report right here on Sharp Video TV. And joining us now, the final and not least component of that starting 5 is sophomore forward Emma Dotson, or should we just call you the sharpshooter?
I've been hearing that a lot recently. Hopefully it can stay with me for the next week.
Well, you were certainly hotter than a fox in a forest fire, dropping those threes throughout the postseason. I mean, it was more than just open looks, because you all executed flawlessly the dribble in, penetrate the defense, and kicking out, and you were always finding yourself in the right position, but just such consistency when you're dropping those threes. Tell me about the work that went into that. How many shots are you putting up a day in practice?
Oh, a lot. I mean, we do some drills, and it's just all you do is shoot threes, and it's just over and over again until you can just find, like, Mo always told me I have like a little sweet spot, so I have to find that sweet spot whenever Haley or someone's dribbling in, so they kick it out to me and find my sweet spot so I can hit them.
Emma, it was probably halfway through the season before I realized you were a sophomore, because you certainly don't play like one whatsoever. How have you adjusted so quickly to playing at this level, and do you feel like a sophomore out there, or do you feel just like you've been out there forever?
Well, actually, I don't feel like a sophomore at all. I mean, I played with all of them since I was in like 6th grade. I went up and I played varsity, so I feel like I'm actually a junior playing with all of them, but definitely just playing over the summer, throughout the season, just getting all the experience that I can, and then just kind of like finding my part and my role on the team. So
Timmy talked about those three-pointers you've been dropping in. You lead the team in that category, 54 three-pointers on the season. What kind of work did you put in earlier in your career and growing up to become a shooter like that, and what's been the key to developing your shot?
Actually, I was not a shooter to begin with. I mean, when I was younger, I was always known kind of being like the slasher, going in to shoot. I mean, like to do layups and all that. But just here, like over the past 2 years, I think Coach kind of saw that like I could make some outside shots here and there, and then definitely over the summer I shot a lot just to get more practice, and then I kind of like developed into that shooter that the stats are showing.
Right.
Well, the stats have shown a lot, and the most important stat is wins. 22 to be exact you've compiled this season, and so many memorable ones. I mean, you got your Wheeling Parks, your George Washingtons, your Woodrow Wilsons 3 times. Was there a point this season where you started to realize, you know, we're more than good. We've got a shot this year?
Yeah, I think definitely the last 2 weeks of our season, when we started hitting all these like big games and we were winning them, and it was like, wow, like our region's like a tough region, and
Sure.
So when we're winning against like some of the tougher teams, they're like top 5 in the state, and we're beating them, and not like small numbers, like we're actually like kind of killing them. It's kind of like, wow, like we can do this if we just keep staying focused and get to the gym and work hard. Like everything that we've done this season to get where we are, if we just keep doing that, we do have a chance, and it's exciting.
I don't want to focus on the negative and all these positives, but the one game you did drop was the final regular season game on the road at George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, did maybe that help you guys stay focused when it came to the postseason, to know that you're really good, but you didn't have it all yet, and you had to keep focusing and keep working hard?
Yeah, definitely. Coach always talks about how we have to hit this another level. And so after we lost to G-Dub, we were like, all right, we got to hit another level now. So at practice the next day, we were running and we were getting better. And so now we played them again for the regional championship, and we're like, this is what we've been practicing for. Like, they beat us, and this is our time to beat them to go on to states.
A lot of big moments this season. You played in front of a lot of hostile crowds and big environments, but what are you expecting going to Charleston? Is it going to be different than anything you've seen?
Well, I mean, I haven't been there yet, so,
Yeah.
but everything that I've heard and just from like my own experience from just the regional game here in this gym, I mean, it was crazy. So I'm excited, and then definitely the school's going to be there, so having everybody like that come, and they're all going to be wearing like East t-shirts, and I know like all these families, they're already talking about buying their tickets in advance, so I think it's going to be a really big crowd and going to definitely hype us up for it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a nice segue. A reminder to you folks watching this, tickets in advance still on sale here at Greenbrier East High School all day Tuesday until the afternoon hours, until about 2:30. Still available here at Greenbrier East High School. Just go to the front office. $8 for adults, $6 for students if you buy them in advance. Save a couple of bucks if you're bringing the kiddos. So anyway, thank you for that, Emma. But I want to get back to this, talking to our conversation here. You talked about how you need to find another gear, and you hit a tremendous milestone and plateau last Tuesday night right here in Spartan Gym as you, like I like to say, you exercise the demon of George Washington as you avenge the loss. But to your point, you've got to find that extra gear, and you've got one more mountain to climb. Tell us about the preparations this week.
We have watched a lot of film about Huntington, I'm sorry, Huntington. So yeah, that's our game Wednesday. But we've watched a lot of film about them and like what they do, what their kind of plays are. So then we've been practicing against that. And then honestly, like besides focusing on other teams, we've just been really focused on ourselves and like what we need to do, where our weaknesses and strengths are. We need to make sure those are like the best that they can be, and just really like dialing ourselves into our own game so we can go to Charleston and execute.
Well, you mentioned that you've watched a lot of tape on Huntington. You've got them coming up Wednesday morning. Watching them, what do they do well, and what is it that you all are going to have to execute to take care of them and move on in the state tournament?
They definitely have a lot more height than we do. They have, I think, like 3 girls that are probably like 5'10" or like taller. So we're gonna have to run the floor, which is probably why we've been conditioning so much. But we're going to have to get the ball out quick and push it down the floor and try to outrun them a lot.
Well, if I have any advice for you, Emma, it's just to enjoy every moment of it. I know your upperclassmen have probably told you it's not easy to get there, and you've gotten here this season, so enjoy it and take it as far as you can and win it all.
Yeah, we're all excited.
Well, we're excited. We've been excited this whole season, quite frankly, and we're tickled to death that it's not over yet. And, you know, Cam made a great point that you're really well beyond your years. I don't know if he said that off air or on, but it's still mind-boggling to us with your game that you're just a sophomore, of which we're very happy and excited that we still get so much more time with you on the court. But as special as this season has been, and as many packed gyms you've played in front of all season, I know the fans have been tremendous in their support, but I'm sure there's been a lot of friends and family for you that have been supportive. So what we want to do right now is give you the opportunity to thank anybody that supported you, or if you want to say hi to everybody, look right in that camera right there and say whatever it is you have to say.
So I think the right thing to say is hi, Mom. But I definitely want to thank my family and all of the coaches, of course, and then you guys. Physical trainers like Bob Haas, definitely want to thank him. I don't know, I think the student section and all those people that come, and then there's just some people you see in the stands and they're always just telling you like, great game, like what a game you had, or like just like good luck tonight. And you just want to like thank those people too, because they've been here throughout the whole season, and it's just been really great to have all this support every single night when we play. So I want to thank everyone that comes to all of our games, really.
Well, we thank you, Emma, for providing us some tremendous basketball to watch this season, and we're happy to know that it's not over yet this season. I've got 3 more mountains to climb to get that coveted state championship, and we look forward to watching you on your journey. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, there she is, Emma Dotson. When we come back, we wrap things up from Spartan Gym. Keep it tuned in right here. You are tuned in to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Report on Sharp Video TV. Back inside Spartan Gym in Fairleigh, you are still tuned in to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans State Tournament Preview Report. And joining us at this time, longtime Greenbrier East Assistant Coach Marion Gordon. Coach, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm great.
Well, we're tickled to death to have you here with us. You have seen it all and done it all, so we're really glad to have your perspective on this. You're making your final preparations for the state tournament, chasing the third in the history of this school. What have you seen this year that makes you think this team has a chance to do just that?
Well, we've got a group of girls that's worked hard all year, and they've got all the talent that you need to do it. You know, they shoot well, they rebound well, they handle the ball well, and they're in excellent condition. So I think we got all the ingredients to make a good run when we get to Charleston.
As Timmy said, you've been around this game for a long time, seen a lot of teams. And as you mentioned, you have to be able to shoot well and rebound and dribble the ball, do all those things. But as a group, what makes it a special team when you look at how they bond together and maybe what they do off the floor? What are kind of the characteristics that a special group has?
I think you said it. They bond well. We do a lot of things together. We go to the movies. We go out to eat. They all pile in each other's cars when they leave practice and go to each other's homes. They go to the little pee-wee games when some of the players, the smaller sisters are playing, younger sisters are playing, and support them. And they just do a lot of things together, and I think that's part of being a team, not just when they put the green and gold on, but even when they're away from school.
There are some teams that win a lot of games and then some teams that are truly special. Is there a moment that you can point to when you maybe realized that this team was something more than ordinary and it was going to be a special group?
Well, probably, I think when we were down in Florida, down at over Christmas holiday, and we should have won the game, but we lost it. But, you know, some circumstances, the girls didn't have their legs. I think we might have been at the park maybe a little bit too long. But it was then that I realized, because we were playing a big school, like a 6A, a big school, but probably twice as big or 3 times as big as Greenbrier East. And we had them on the ropes even then, and let them off. And that's when I realized, you know, hey, this is the real deal here.
It didn't help a whole lot to have 4 of your starters sitting on the bench at the end of that game either with foul trouble.
Exactly.
And despite all that, you still only lost that game by 2.
Yeah. So that says a lot about this team, not just the 5 starters, but we got some guys, or girls, I call them guys. We've got some girls that come in off the bench that, you know, we don't lose anything when we sub.
And, you know, it's been great to watch as this season has developed, how the depth has developed, because, I mean, I would suggest that maybe early in the season in December you might not have been as confident about, you know, beyond your first 6 than what you are now. But we've seen so many critical minutes put in big games from the likes of Tucker Nunley, A.J. Groves, Riley Norman. It goes on down the list. So really, talk about the growth of some of the youngsters on this team and how they've really helped round out this Spartan lineup.
Yeah, it started out we were just going to move up maybe 1 or 2 of the 9th graders, you know, because they probably wouldn't get to play as much as they would like. And then we saw that, hey, they were all contributing. And so we thought, you know, let's just move all 4 of them up instead of 1 or 2 or whatever. And when they got a chance to go in and play, they went in and did what we expected them to do, and they've got a good future here at Greenbrier East. All 4 of them. And then there's some other girls that didn't get moved up who showed some talent that if they continue to play and worked on the summer, that they'll be a part of the Spartan program next year and years to come.
Coach, you've made some trips to the state tournament before with different teams, but so you know how special it is, but you also know how rare it is. What do you tell these girls about kind of cherishing the moment and appreciating what they've got coming this week?
Well, that's true. It's a special moment, and I think, you know, it's something that, you know, you don't forget. You know, and I think, you know, with all our student body going down, even though they're not playing in the game, just to be in that moment, it's something as a player, as a student, as a teacher going down, or as a parent going down, it's just something that you always remember. I've always thought it would be great for every kid in school to go to the state tournament as a player or as just a spectator, because it's such an event in the state boys tournament as well as the girls tournament.
It is. It's such a spectacle, and it's just 4 pure days of nothing but basketball at the highest level. And you've been there several times as a coach, and I'm sure you've even made some trips. Whenever your team wasn't there, just because it's such a great event. One of the things I want to talk about, because you were there the last time Greenbrier East won a state tournament. I believe it was if that banner is correct, my wife's going to kill me for having to check back on that. It was the 2012 season. Won the state tournament. They ended up winning over Bridgeport. She always said that the most difficult game of that run was the first one. So how do you balance trying to get them ready, but also not trying to freak them out about what the jitters of that first game are going to be?
Well, when you're going to Charleston and when you walk into that Civic Center and the hugeness of the place, the space, it's disturbing really, because you just got your high school gyms, which don't compare to the Civic Center. And then you've got that crowd, which we have good crowds, but it won't compare to what we have down there. And just all that dumped on the kids all at once. It takes a while. It takes a quarter or so before they start getting into their groove and start playing ball. But they usually come around probably about that second quarter and start playing ball. Yes.
Well, I mean, one of the things that helps offset that is certainly the tenacious level of defense. Talked to some of the girls about this in previous segments. Coach Justice has talked to us all season long about how smart these girls are and how they pick up things on the fly. And we've watched Coach like a maestro during games. He makes these adjustments and changes defenses on the fly and makes all these quick adjustments, and they always get it. They're right with it. At what point did you realize that you all as a staff could do much more with this group, because they maybe visualize the game and execute the game on a different level?
Well, we explain it, we break it down to them, we show them films, we use our little posy board, and I don't know if you realize it, but every girl on this team, I just happen to be looking at the local paper, and all of them are on the principal's honor roll. So we're not talking about kids that aren't smart.
Right.
They pick up quick, and they do what we ask them to do. Coach Webb, Coach Mo, Coach Justice, anything we ask them to do, they, sometimes they help us because we might forget a thing or two. So they're on it. They're on their game.
Well, Coach, they've been on their game all season long, and we look forward to seeing them on their game all this week as they pursue another state championship. We're thankful to be along for the ride. We thank you so much for joining us. We thank you for just bukus of great games we've had the opportunity to watch this year. On a personal note, thank you so much for helping along the transition with Cam and I. You've been great to us the whole time, which it never came to us as a surprise, but you've always been a good friend to both of us. We appreciate you.
Well, I'm glad to help out, and I want you to know my mom listens to you all, and she praises you all after each game. And who were those guys? They did a good job. They keep you right on top of the game and everything. It's like you're there. And so you guys are doing it. Good job.
We appreciate you. Well, there he is, longtime assistant coach Marion Gordon. I almost forgot, Coach. We've done this with everybody we've interviewed. Now you've had years sitting in this chair, and you've probably not. I probably won't be the first person to ask you this question in anticipation of a run at the state championship, but there's been so many fans, and you've talked about it. We've played in front of so many packed houses in this school, not just this year, but in all the years culminating with this week. If there's anybody in excess of the fans, because we love them, but your family and friends that have supported you all throughout your coaching career, which is one of the most illustrious that I can think of. If there's anybody you'd like to say hello to or thank, we'll give you the opportunity to look in that camera right there and say whatever it is you have to say.
Well, I'd just like to thank, all the fans out there, and I'm very appreciative of my mom being able to come. My mom's 95 years old, and if the weather's not bad, she comes to every game, and I'm just glad she's here to do that, and I really appreciate that. that.
We appreciate you, Coach. Wish you the best of luck this week. Thanks so much for the time with us.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
All right, there he is, Coach Marion Gordon. When we return, we'll be back with the head coach of the Lady Spartans, Jim Justice. Keep it tuned right here. You are watching the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans State Tournament Preview Report on Sharp Video TV. Hi, folks. We welcome you back into Spartan Gym in Fairley. You are tuned into the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans State Tournament Preview Report right here on Sharp Video TV. And at this time, we are delighted to be joined by the head coach of the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans, Coach Jim Justice. Coach, how are you this evening?
Timmy, I'm doing good, Cam. Thank y'all for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. We've had a tremendous opportunity this evening to sit down and chat with your starting five, and even Coach Gordon to come down and sit with us. Final preparations underway for your pursuit of your second state championship here at Greenbrier East. What's the last week been like?
It's good. I mean, the kids are still nervous, and tonight, we're just kind of going through a few things, just kind of brush them back up on, knowing a few different things that they already know to do. But they're more than anything, we're just kind of letting them relax a little bit. Last practice for a couple of seniors that they're ever going to have here at Greenbrier East, and that's a real sentimental thing and an emotional thing. Both of them have come up and talked to me about that. But the long and the short of it is tonight's really pretty easy. Now tomorrow we'll do a whole lot more of just getting into the mental aspects of what we're going to do. But if you're not ready now to play, it's too late.
Coach, you've coached at a lot of different levels. You got a lot of wins with a lot of different teams. You know what makes a special team. What makes this team special, and when did you realize that this team was something special?
Probably, Cam, potential-wise, long time ago. But they've had some real challenges to be able to get to where they are today. But probably 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, you could really see a real difference. You could see them really with, coming together with speed and coming together from the mental aspect of, making really sharp, crisp passes, really hard passes and everything. Doing things like, sealing and just flipping the ball back. Things that, you really would expect to see on a college level. And you saw it with St. Joe a lot of penetration and kick out to shoot the three and stuff like that. You don't really see that on a high school level with girls, because what happens is when a girl normally gets close enough to the goal to shoot it, they're trying to shoot it, and the pass, the option to a kick out pass all the way to a three leaves them. But this team's really come along, and they're, I told them the other day, we're sitting watching film at my house and everything. They were getting ready to eat, and I said, I've given you a lot of grief, and I've really pushed them, because I've told them over and over, I'm not going to allow them to be mediocre. That's all there is to it. But at the same time, I've never really told them that they're really not only a good team, they're a great team, and they really are. They're really truly a great team right now.
Well, Cam and I certainly had that thought really not long after that Florida trip, and really it speaks to how smart you are, been around the block more than once, to identify what was a good team, and you knew when to push and when not to push, and you took what was probably the most difficult schedule any team had in the state, and you still navigated through that to come away with a 22-3 record, which was phenomenal considering the quality of opponents you had. You avenged your only in-state AAA loss in George Washington. Just talk about you don't think so much of ebb and flow really with when you think of 22 wins, but there was a lot of ups and downs and bumps and bruises and rough stretches with tough games back to back and girls getting beat up. Talk about the mental toughness of this group.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, right off the get-go, we lose Taylor, and for the whole season. And then all of a sudden, Kate down with a concussion, and Haley down with an ankle, and we've had kids be sick, and right now, bless her heart, Amaya just lost her granddad, and so and Haley, has got a big-time stomach thing going on, and so we've had her, you know, through the rigors yesterday and everything, and so you know, that's just part of it. But these kids have really responded. I mean, they are mentally tough. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I mean, there's nobody out there any more tougher, you know, as far as competitive and everything than Emma. But we've got several kids that are tough, and it really surprise you. But at the same time, you know, I just think you know, you always build your character. I mean, you know, you got to know when to get after them and when to get off of them, you know, and really and truly, you know, when to have a day when you walk in and you say, guys, you can just see it in their face. They've given everything they've had, and you know, and they're beat up and they're tired, and you say, okay, we're going to run up to 10 and down today, and they look at you like, oh my gosh, and I'd say, right after we go to the Dairy Queen, let's go, you know, and off we go, you know, and so there's, you know, I've done this forever. I've got white hair, for crying out loud. I've won a gazillion games. Fortunately, I don't lose very often, or I wouldn't have any hair. But the long and short of it is, you know, you motivate lots of different ways, and you know, I'm blessed to be able to still be young and young at heart at least, and be with the kids, and I love them, and I love the game. It's a game that is almost so much like life. You know, in anything, if you get down and you'll just hang with it, you know, you'll cycle back, and you'll cycle back faster than you think. And that's the thing about this crazy basketball is really and truly, it can take you to the highest highs and the lowest lows and back to the highest highs if you'll just hang with it.
Building off of that, Coach, how important is this personally to you with everything you have going on in your life and the stress from day to day? You can see it on the sideline, how much fun you have with these girls and how much you enjoy being around them. What does it mean to you to still be doing this and be a part of this team?
Well, I mean, you know, I've always loved the kids, and I've always loved, you know, the game of basketball and everything. Now, it's tough, Kim. I mean, you know, there's nothing easy about this.
Right.
I mean, because at the end of the day, I don't ever want to be a rec ball coach. You know, I take this very seriously, just as seriously as I do anything in my life. Anything I do, while I'm doing it, I'm going to give the very best that I've got to it. And so, the long and the short of it, though, it's hard. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you know, it wears on you, and you know, it takes a lot of energy. The games are stressful, for crying out loud. When I'm having a nut fit on the referee and everything, it's 18 karat stressful. I'll promise you that.
Well, hey, Coach, glad you talked about how hard it is, because one of the things I've thought of before I knew we were going to sit down and talk to you is, gosh, I don't think there's nobody that can fathom how difficult it is to manage everything that you do on top of being, you know, a top line, bar none, one of the best high school basketball coaches in the state. Oh, by the way, on top of that, you just happen to be the governor of this state. So, really, the first part's not even a question. My hat's off to you, because I don't know how you do it. But the second part, I'd like to know, and I'm sure a lot of the people that are going to be watching this would like to know, how special is that, regardless of the result? The fact that as governor of this state, as much as you love the state and as much as you love these kids, everything's finally meshing together, and you're taking a team to the state tournament during one of your terms.
Well, I mean, you know, it's good. I mean, there's no question it's really good. You know, I've had lots of teams at the state championship,
sure.
And you know, but this is no question it's special. I'll probably get harassed by the media, you know, for being there and coaching and all that kind of stuff. But I'll put up with that. You know, I hadn't really thought of that, to tell you the honest truth, Timmy. You know, I just, you know, because we've done this several times. I mean, and you know, this is something that I expect. I mean, you know, really, it's just that. You know, you said, well, how do you manage your time and all this kind of stuff? Well, you see, I don't do anything but work. Right. That's all I do, you know, and a normal day for me is seriously, you go to bed at 12 or 1 o'clock at night, you know, and you get up at 6 and you go, and you do that 7 days a week. I mean, that's all there is to it. You try to make it to church if you can on Sunday, and you know, every single night of my life I read a chapter in the Bible, and I'm blessed beyond belief and thankful to the good Lord for every day that I'm here. But at the same time, I really believe that the good Lord made me Jim Justice for a reason, and made you guys who you are for a reason. And I think at the end of the day, I think, and I'm going to maybe miss this, but I think in Genesis 2:15, you know, there's one sentence, and that one sentence says that God above, you know, put Adam in the Garden of Eden, and when he did, he said, he told him to dress it and basically expect or protect it. And so in other words, that one sentence basically says, man is here to go to work. Go to work. That's what you should do. Go to work. Dress it means work it, and protect it means protect it, preserve it, you know. And so at the end of the day, I really believe that as blessed as we are, as long as the good Lord gives me breath, I'm going to keep at it, and I'm going to keep trying to do everything I possibly can for my fellow man, for people, and, you know, try to create jobs and do the right stuff. And I make lots of mistakes, for crying out loud. I'm just like everybody else, and, you know, just, you know, I don't put myself on any pedestal as being a goody-goody guy. You know, I make a lot of mistakes, and but at the end of the day, you know, I really feel blessed. And like I said, you know, a lot of people, you know, decide they're going to retire, and I don't begrudge that in any way, but that's not going to be me.
Switching gears a little bit, Coach, and that's a great statement you made there. But as you said in that, you've done this several times. This isn't your first trip to Charleston. You've taken several teams down there. Has there ever been a team as prepared as this one? The way you faced such a tough schedule over the course of the season, you played in so many hostile environments, you faced a lot of adversity. This team has to be ready for what it's going to see in Charleston.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. It's ready. I mean, that's for daggum sure. But I've had teams that, you know, goodness gracious, I mean, I go back, way back to, you know, when Jill was playing. I think one year we played 11 out-of-state games, you know, and so we've played a lot of tough schedules before. This one was really tough, there's no question. But at the same time, you've just got to be ready for anything. I mean, just to tell like it is, we're probably a 2 or 3 point favorite against Huntington. But if they just come out and they just happen to shoot the ball just like crazy, I mean, Kashana Curry, who probably never made a three her whole career in high school, and I love Kashana with all my soul and everything, and Huntington made 5 threes against us in one game in the state tournament. And so you know, the long and the short of it is anything can happen down there. Kids are going to be nervous. They're shooting at those open rim goals and everything, and so you know, you just don't know. I mean, you get in foul trouble or just anything can happen.
As you said, anything can happen. Do you relay that message to the girls in telling them to how much to appreciate this moment and take advantage of it? Because you never know when they're going to be there again.
No, they're going to be there next year, and they're going to be there the next year after that, and they're going to be there the next year after that. You know, as long as I'm going to have something to say about it, they're going to be there. You know, we give them basically an outline of the whole season and on the front of it before we ever start anything. It says play your last game in Charleston.
Right.
I mean, that's exactly what we want to do. We always want to play our last game down there. Now, I don't, you know, I'll tell them when they're down there to just look around, see the moment, remember the moment. Now forget it, let's play.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, I'm not all wrapped up in all this nostalgia and everything. I want them to go and perform and do. You know, I tell them that they wouldn't be there if they didn't deserve to be there, and if they deserve to be there, they got a real shot to win it. You know, that's all there is to it. If they deserve to be there, it's time for them to beat Huntington, and then probably have to play University and beat University, and then see what happens in the finals against Spartans.
Coach, one other thing I wanted to mention before we get out of here is we interviewed your starting 5, but we didn't have time to get everybody in. But your team goes so much further beyond that starting 5, and I think that's what has made this team better and better as the season is going along. Is you've gotten more and more out of Maya. You've gotten people like Tucker Nunley to step up and play bigger and bigger minutes. Do you feel like you're deeper now than you were early in the season, and how much difference does that make as you head to Charleston?
No question. And you know, and Kendra and AJ. I mean, you know. Even Brooke has stepped up, you know, a little freshman and everything. But But they're, you know, Tucker especially. Tucker's a big kid that wanted to play small.
Right.
You know, and I had to tell her, and it was tough. I said, Tucker, is all there is to it. You know, if you can go out there and you can tee it up one-on-one against Kate Perkins, and you can perform against her in the backcourt, dribbling the ball forward, everything you do and everything, then that's one thing, Tucker. But if you can't, you're going to have to make a decision. You're either going to not play or you're going to have to play big. But she's come along. She really has. And Tucker's just a sophomore. And, you know, we're going to get some real quality stuff out of Tucker. We're already getting it and everything. And Amaya, for crying out loud, I mean, Maya's going to be all world. That's just all there is to it. I mean, she's such a special kid. She's going through a tough time right now. And I've talked to her bukus of times and, you know, hope and pray, you know, that the good Lord will bless that whole family and her grandfather. And just so the net of the whole thing, though, is she is really going to be a special player.
You say that in those the regional game against, or a sectional game against Woodrow, and then a regional game against GW, at crucial moments you wanted the ball in her hands, and she's just a freshman. I mean, have you had a lot of freshmen like that, and how special is that? How rare is that?
No, we haven't had many freshmen like that. That's for sure. You know, but she, you know, she's long, and you know, and she you know, and she finishes terrific, and so. Now, she makes mistakes and fumbles the ball away and everything else, but you know, when that Vivian Ho, I think, was guarding her and everything, we put Amaya down low on the block, you know, which was pretty daggone unusual to put a two guard or a point guard down low on the block and post her. But you know, there's all kinds of things like that you can do with her. She's you know, and what a move she made when she took that ball behind her back, you know, or half court. I mean, that just stunned the whole crowd and everything. But she's going to be. She's already tough, but she's going to really be unbelievable.
I know you've had a lot of fun with her this year, too. I remember one game she was out doing push-ups on the floor and those kind of things. She seems like she's a fun kid to be around, and you really enjoy having her on the bench.
I have been tough on her, and I have, because that level of talent, and I know what her dream really is. Her dream is to go play college basketball and really be successful with it, and that kid could drift away and really and truly just drift out into no man's land. Or that kid could absolutely pursue this basketball, and she's a good student and everything, and end up getting a great college education, have a lot of fun doing it and all that kind of stuff, and she could. And so I've really pushed her. I mean, I've been on her at times, and I mean really on her and everything. But at the same time, you know, she's a good kid. I've been able to tease her a lot and everything else. And in that situation, what happened was she came to me and she said, Coach, can we just have all the freshmen in at one time? Can we just do it? And I said, Amaya, the only way I can possibly do this is if you'll go down there and do 30 push-ups. And she said, I'll do it. And then while she was out on the floor, and I just harassed her, you know, I'm just giving her a hard time. And while she's out on the floor and everything, and they're playing, I said, Amaya, you got to do a push-up real quick. And she got to do it, and her kid got the ball, and down the floor they took, you know, but she's a great kid.
Well, she's a great kid and a great player on the court. I will never forget, you'd already talked about that crossover move behind the back, and she left three Patriots laying there on the court. I think we're still picking up shoelaces off there. But one of the great things about this team is really the whole is kind of greater than the sum of the parts, because you've got, like, Amaya, who cuts to the basket like nobody I've ever seen. I mean, she just has no fear when she cuts to the basket. You've got that shutdown defense from Bartonslogger and Hill, your twin seniors. You've got such a great post presence in McClure. You've got the sharp shooting of Dodson. You've got the ball handling ability of Perkins. Is this one of the most like well-rounded teams that you've had?
It's really well-rounded from the standpoint, Timmy, that they get along so well. They pick each other up when somebody's just going completely haywire, and there's times you have that. I mean, that's all there is to it. We all have bad games and bad moments and everything, but they're very well-rounded. They're just really intelligent kids. I mean, you know, this is a smart bunch of kids. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, I would have hated to have competed with any of them in the classroom. To tell you the truth, they're pretty tough.
Well, Coach, I guess we're about out of time here. We appreciate you giving us the access here to sit down with you this afternoon, and as well as the team. And just real quick, if you want to give us what's your final prediction for how this week's going to play out?
Well, I'm not one to shy away, and I don't want, I mean, again, we all got to know that at this level here, anything can happen, and you can just go and lay an egg, and you just can't stop it. Or just, that can very well happen. But I think we're going to beat Huntington, and I think we're going to play University, and I think we're going to beat University, and then I think we're going to be playing in the finals against Parkersburg.
Sounds like a plan to me. Coach, I do have one more question before we get out of here. We asked some of the players what their favorite moment was of the season, and a lot of them, it was that pie to the face, which I'm going to guess wasn't your favorite moment of the season. But what was your most memorable or favorite moment of the season so far?
Well, I'll go along with the pie. I mean, I'll not take anything away from them. I mean, I was trying to be really nice again with Emma. I was going to blast her, to tell you the truth, and then I thought, she looks like, she's not going to be real happy with this, and because she's gotten her hair all done and everything. And so I just really nice, with a little whipped cream on her nose. Then she got a little more brazen and put it on my nose. And then Kate rolls out there out of nowhere, and I said, "Now Kate, now come on, just be friends here and everything." And then she just wound up wham. And then before I could get it out of my eyes, then she got Emma's pie and wham again. Well, I had whipped cream and pie up my nose for 8 days, and I was getting it out of my eyelashes, for 2 weeks. But short of it is, that's what they need, guys. I mean, that's what makes them really good. I mean, the real things that bond them together are when they can see you be one of them, and you can actually just communicate with them so much better. They know when I'm mad at them or when I'm really serious. They know that. But they need me to be able to be one of them too. And they're a really special group. We're all really, really, really proud of them.
Well, Coach, I mean, I know how proud you are of this team, and I know how proud you are of the fans and the friends and the families that have packed this gym on numerous occasions over the years, and this year especially, riding the wave with all of us going to the state championship. And Coach, on behalf of all the fans and all the families and all the people that appreciate this ball club, we just simply say thank you.
Well, listen, I mean this. You guys have done an incredible job. And Joe Sharp is just a superstar. He's been sick and everything for a couple weeks, and and that was tough on Joe. I don't want to forget Kathy. I mean, Kathy has the kids over there and feeds them and everything before every pregame, and she's right with them and slugging it out with them. But at the end of the day, the bottom line of this whole thing is if we're all on the bus together and we're absolutely all pitching in and doing everything we can, all those people that filled this place up and are screaming their heads off for us and everything, that makes the engine go, guys. That's what makes it go. And when we're pulling at each other and everything, to be perfectly honest, like we are in Charleston, too much, way too much. I mean, this infighting between the Republicans and the Democrats, it drives me crazy. It drives me absolutely crazy. So because at the end of the day, we ought to all be there for one reason, and that's to serve the people and to make things better for the citizens of West Virginia. Make opportunity to come to West Virginia, but lots of times that gets really, really clouded. But it's not clouded with this team. It's not clouded with this school and this community and all of our family. I mean this. I love you.
We love you too, Coach. And things might be cloudy in Charleston sometimes, but they're not cloudy here. You've certainly made things better for us, and we're looking forward to pulling the wagon with you and watching you all along, rooting you along as you get that second state championship.
Well, that'd be good. That'd be great, guys. I think there's a possibility.
Let's do it.
I think there's a good one, too. Well, there he is, the head coach of the Lady Spartans, Jim Justice. When we return, we wrap things up here from Spartan Gym in Fairleigh. You're tuned in to the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Report right here on Sharp Video TV. Back here for the closing moments of the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan, easy for me to say, State Tournament Preview Show right here on Sharp Video TV. Timmy Gwynn along with Cam Huffman and Cam, we've had an opportunity to sit down with the 5 starters of this Greenbrier East Ball Club. We've talked to longtime assistant Marion Gordon, and we've had a fantastic conversation with the head ball coach, Jim Justice. Now, I tell you what, this team is as prepared as they can possibly be for the state tournament. I think things are looking up for the Spartans this week.
Absolutely. Everybody seems confident, excited, and ready to go. Obviously, there are going to be some nerves, but you don't see them too much from these girls. They're just more excited and ready for the opportunity.
And opportunities abound, certainly. 3 games separate the Lady Spartans from hoisting the 3rd state championship in school history, 2nd under Coach Justice. And we've talked to our starters our starters throughout the season. We've talked to Kate Perkins. We've talked to Emma Dotson, Haley McClure, Abby Barton-Slaughter, and Autumn Hill. And again, we've talked to the coaches of the staff, but there's been so many more. It's been an ensemble cast, if you will, that have contributed to the success of this ball club and have really put them over the top, added so much depth to this team that really make it something special to watch.
Absolutely. Coach talked a lot about Amaya Damon and what she's been as that 6th person off the bench, and she's been absolutely key to this team. But there's some others, as he talked about, Tucker Nunley. AJ Groves, all the games kind of run together now, Timmy, but I remember one game they were in some foul trouble and they needed some valuable minutes out of AJ Groves, and here she came and played those valuable minutes and did a great job. So whenever they've needed somebody to step up, there's been somebody there to step up, and that's what's made this team so special. And just looking down the roster, I want to read off everybody that has contributed in some way to this team. Jackie Wilhelm, we saw her out here on senior night to get a chance to make the start, and what a special moment that was for her to start as a exchange student to come in here. Allie Dunford has been a spark plug off the bench. She plays with a lot of energy. She has a lot of fun when she comes in. She's played in 4 games this year, contributed some valuable minutes. Taylor Dunbar, as Coach said, played in just 2 games this season before suffering an injury and being out the rest of the season, but we're obviously excited to have her back next year. She's going to be big to this team, and she's part of that team in the locker room and on the trips, and I know that she'll have a lot of fun in Charleston, and that they'll be glad to have her here. Kendra Morgan, who has played in 16 games this season, so she's been a big contributor as well, played some valuable minutes. Riley Norman has played in 8 games, and she's another player that really shines in some of those JV games under Coach Gordon and has a bright future ahead of her. Brooke Davis has played in 7 games this season. We talked about her a minute ago. Coach talked about her. She's a 3-point bomber and has a lot of fun out there, as does Madison Neal, who's really knocked down some 3 balls in those JV games. She's played in 6 varsity games, so that rounds out all the contributors, and I think the coaching staff and the players as well would tell you this team wouldn't be here without every one of those individuals and the contributions that they've made, whether it be in practice, in the locker room, or on the floor during the game. So credit goes to all of them for making it this far, and I hope they all enjoy the trip to Charleston.
Well, and they certainly should, because they deserve it. 22-3 on the season. Section 3, Region 3, Section 2 champions and Region 3 champions en route to a number 2 seed in this week's state tournament. We've handed out thanks to just about everybody that has contributed this season. A couple of exceptions. I don't think anybody said anything about Coach Steve Webb or Mo Ball yet. Certainly a couple of guys that have been stalwarts in their support of this Spartan program, and really on a personal level, they've been nothing but great to us, Cam.
Absolutely, and yeah, we'd like to give thanks to everybody who's given us this opportunity. I know you feel the same way, Timmy. We've had a lot of fun starting with that bus trip to Orlando, and it's been a pleasure to be able to call the action and get to know these girls. I say next year, Timmy, we should do a preview show before the season, because it's been really fun getting to talk to these girls one-on-one a little bit and getting to know a little bit more about them. So it's just added to a lot of great moments this season, and I hope we have 3 more of them ahead of us.
Heck, why not do it every week? I mean, Joe's not busy enough, is he? But Cam, seriously, my friend, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to doing more with you in the seasons to come. Well, that's it for the waterworks and all the thanks. Need to get to the task at hand. The state tournament is coming up this week, folks, and we need each and every one of you out there watching this. We need you in Charleston rooting on the number 2 ranked Greenbrier East Lady Spartans. We know there's a school bus that's taking kids. We know there's going to be some fan buses. Even if you didn't catch a bus yet, advance tickets still available through Tuesday afternoon right here at Greenbrier East High School. $8 for adults, $6 for students if you're bringing the kiddos. Save a couple of bucks, because when you get to Charleston, going to be $28 at the door for everybody. So get your tickets here now. Call up Cheryl Humes, call up the office staff, call up your neighbor if they know where Greenbrier East High School is. Get down here and get a ticket, and we want you to fill that Charleston Civic Center. Repeat this atmosphere that is filled out this gym each and every night for these games, and root them on. Get them the rest of the way with us. This is officially your invitation to join us in Charleston as the Greenbrier East Lady Spartans chase this state championship. Cam, was that a good enough promo for you?
I'm ready to go, Timmy. Let's pop on. They got an extra uniform back there?
Well, let's get after it. Tickled to death to have been here. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I mean it now. If I don't see you in Charleston, I'm going to have a couple of choice words for you, so just be there. For Cam Huffman, for Joe Sharp, this is Timmy Gwynn, and we thank you so much for joining us here on the Greenbrier East Lady Spartan State Tournament Preview Report right here on Sharp Video TV.